The United States has consistently made it clear that actions that undermine stability in the West Bank, including attacks by Israeli settlers against Palestinians and Palestinian attacks against Israelis, are unacceptable. In December, Secretary Blinken announced a visa restriction policy pursuant to the Immigration and Nationality Act, targeting individuals believed to have been involved in or meaningfully contributing to undermining peace, security, or stability in the West Bank. On February 1st, President Biden signed an executive order giving us the authority to impose sanctions on persons engaged in such activities. The United States has since imposed sanctions on 11 individuals and 11 entities and pursued dozens of visa restrictions under these two authorities. Today, under this policy, and as part of our ongoing effort to promote peace, security, and stability in the region, we are taking steps to impose visa restrictions on an additional group of individuals who have used violence against persons or property or unduly restricted civilians' access to essential services and basic necessities. Additionally, today Secretary Blinken announced the designation of Elor Azaria, a former Israeli Defense Forces sergeant, for his involvement in a gross violation of human rights in the West Bank. As such, Azaria and any immediate family members are generally ineligible for entry into the United States. As we have said on a number of occasions, promoting accountability and justice for any crimes, violations, and abuses committed against Palestinians and against Israelis are essential to stable, just, and enduring peace in the region. We once again call on the government of Israel and the Palestinian Authority to hold accountable those responsible for violence in the West Bank, and we reiterate that we will continue to impose our own accountability measures as necessary. And with that, Simon?
Follow up on that. So these sanctions against, it's a visa ban against Elor Azaria. Does that sort of imply that he hasn't had that the treatment of his case by the Israeli authorities was not fully in line with the standards of justice that the U.S. would like to see?
So we have made clear, let me speak to it generally first, and I'll speak with respect to his case. We have made clear that we want to see appropriate accountability for those involved in violations of human rights in the West Bank, those involved in actions that of violence that threaten Palestinians or actions that threaten Israelis. With respect to this particular statute under which he was designated, we are actually required to impose visa restrictions if we find a violation of gross violation of human rights. So I think there are people who will, obviously there was an action that the IDF took against him, right? He did serve time, and I think people can appropriately question whether that was the right amount of time or not. But we are actually separate and apart from that analysis. When we find a gross violation of human rights by a government official, and we did find a gross violation of human rights by this official, we are required to impose this measure whether or not the government of Israel has taken its own accountability measures.